Hello, sister. I am coming at you today with probably the most frequently asked question. What can I do because I really miss my affair partner? It's a hot topic, and there's a lot of emotion around this. A lot of women still feel shame because they feel like they shouldn't be feeling this kind of way. And so what am I supposed to do if I'm trying to move on with my life, but I still really miss him and it still really hurts in my body? Sister, let's have a chat, a real heart-to-heart today. So I'm going to bring you some practical things that you can do and some things that you can journal. I do have some thinking and some reflecting that I want you to do. And I also just want to talk about how you can pay attention to your thoughts so that you begin to have more control over your emotions and what you're feeling. I don't want emotions to control you. That's how we got to where you are today, by letting emotions control you. So instead, let's flip that. Let's get you to control the emotions, and it will radically begin to change your identity and your life.
Hey mama, welcome to Intimacy After Infidelity. Do you find yourself Googling, can a marriage survive infidelity? Or what's the first step to divorce? Do you wake up full of hope, only to end the day with more shame when there's another stupid argument again? Hey, I'm KristinaJoy, forgiven daughter of Jesus. I too felt the shame of infidelity and wished someone had a roadmap for how to get out of the mess so I could experience freedom. I kept telling myself I just needed to try harder to end the affair and fix my marriage, until I found I needed Jesus to heal some deep wounds in my heart. Through prayer, lots of research, and developing new healthy habits, I was able to find healing to shed my shame once and for all. Now I'm excited to share everything I've learned with you. So find your safe space and pop in that earbud. Let's rebuild your life and marriage better than it's ever been.
All right, sister, you may have recently ended your affair, or maybe you're a little bit away from it, and you're thinking, but now what? Now what am I supposed to do? You are desperate for answers and for help. Everything feels urgent, and you're afraid to talk to anyone because you feel like they're just going to judge you and share some unsolicited advice that you don't want to hear anyway. Listen, friend, this podcast and one-on-one coaching with me is not that. I come at you with compassion, curiosity, and lots of questions so that you can begin to shed your shame and walk in the dignity promised in Proverbs 31. But I want you to own that. Do it at your own pace and because it's what you want. I am so excited to share that coaching with me is easier than ever. I use a text and voice messaging app so you can get real-time help on the go. I don't want you to spend hundreds of dollars to talk to someone really just a handful of times. They don't really get to know you and your story and what you need and where you're going in the future. But friend, I want to help you experience forgiveness, as well as create a vision and a hope for the days ahead. Literally, let's get you moving forward with life instead of staying stuck in the shame and the doubts and the questions. So come check out Shed Your Shame Coaching so I can show you what's possible before another day goes by. You can start hearing from God and trusting yourself and rebuilding relationships. So check out the show notes right now for the link to get started, just to raise your hand and say, I'm interested. Can you give me some more information? All right, so when you miss your affair partner, what do I do? How should I think about that? How should I feel about that? So first, I want you to know that missing your affair partner is completely normal. Almost always I hear that you have developed a friend and this person was probably your best friend. So of course you're going to feel sad and upset if you just lost your best friend, no matter the gender or the situation. And I tell you this because so often we start with, well, I shouldn't feel this way, and sister, that is not true nor helpful. And let me just also give you an extra pro tip here. Anytime you catch yourself using the word should, pay attention to that. It usually does not result in positive feelings. I shouldn't feel this way. Well, who said? Who said that it had to be like that? So pay attention to that word should. But I also want you to know that just like when somebody dies, this too, what you're walking through, it is a grieving process. There's no way around it. You have to grieve through it. So right now, I want you to think of the specific places you can grieve, just like if somebody had died. Now, I know society doesn't see this as a legitimate grief. Somebody might say, what? Why are you so sad about this? Think about how your husband feels. Okay, people, that's not helpful. And when you are trying to shove down those feelings instead of accept them, you will never build trust with yourself that way. Okay, I have to make a movie reference here. Have you seen either of the movies Inside Out? Either one or two. But picture that little blue girl. Her name was Sadness. You also have a part of you that sometimes needs to come online and be taken care of. So please don't tell her to just go hide away in a corner, or don't just try to make her happy all the time, but instead accept her, get curious about her, and welcome her in. Provide a safe space for your little Sadness to be loved. That is how you walk through the healing journey. Okay, so again, specifically, where can you grieve? For me, the very first place I learned to do this was with my counselor. She was the first person who told me to cry, because if I didn't do it with her, where else would I do it? It wasn't like there was a funeral where people would acknowledge my loss, so I let myself cry with her. Healing happens in community. Your brain literally needs another person to hold your story and let you process through it. So she was my in-person at first. And I also grieved in the shower. So many times I would just lean against the wall and just bawl my eyes out and let the water run over me. But I needed to give myself that space to physically and emotionally feel the grief. Now, I would also journal. There, it forced me to slow down my thoughts enough to actually process them and put words to them. I didn't let them just stay a jumbled mess in my brain. I actually got them out on paper so they made sense. Finally, I also had a coach that I knew that I could text any time of the day or night that I needed something. She allowed me in that space to begin feeling seen and heard. So what is that for you? What specific place or what specific people can you grieve with? Now, I know we were just talking a lot about feelings, but I want to move the spotlight and talk a little bit about your thoughts. Did you know that it's your thoughts that generate your feelings? A feeling is just a physical sense that is summed up into one word about what you just thought. Like a millisecond ago. It happens so fast, but there is an order that's important. So that's why you'll hear me talk about taking your thoughts captive, because it has the potential to change your emotions. So in this situation, it's not the fact that you can't talk to your affair partner that's making you feel sad. That is just the situation. It's a neutral fact, black and white. You're not talking. Maybe you blocked them or they blocked you. And you have a thought or a lot of thoughts about that. Well, what is he thinking? Is he mad at me? Oh, what if we never talk again? What am I going to do without him? He was my whole world, and on and on. Maybe you've even thought to yourself, I don't even want to still be married. What am I doing? And so our thoughts begin to spiral. And then we notice the emotions that accompany them. But guess what? Maybe even after I just said some of those things, then you had the emotions, sadness, fear, maybe even disgust. So what is the story that you're telling yourself? That you will never find love again? Maybe that you are unlovable? That your marriage is lifeless and will never be changed? Sister, what if you believed that ending the affair was really sad and your life could become even better? What if you had the thought, I experienced such a unique love in that relationship. I didn't know that was possible, but now that I know it is, maybe I can experience something similar in my marriage. What if you had the thought, I acknowledge this was a sin, and now I get to experience Christ's love and forgiveness in a way I didn't even know was possible? So again, what's the story you're telling yourself about the situation? What are the thoughts that you are allowing to come into your head? What do you believe about yourself or about the affair? Are those things true? And then, are they producing the emotions that you want? Now, hear me, I'm not saying to just change your thoughts so you can stop feeling sad, because that's like telling your little sadness girl to just go sit in the corner and you're going to ignore her. No. Instead, what if we accepted feeling sad just like we accept a rainy day or a winter season? We accept weather as just part of life. We ride it out and then it passes. Well, we also have emotional weather symptoms. We learn to recognize them and accept them for that season. I promise you, seasons change. So let your emotions ride their course and appreciate them. Get curious about them. What are they trying to tell you? And then they will change again. Now, the last thing that I have found to help me in moments where I really missed my affair partner, or I was looking again for some type of connection, I would pause and remember who I am, or rather who I'm striving to become. What is my identity? And if you sit and journal this, I want you to get really super specific, like color inside the lines of the picture. So maybe while you're a wife or a mom, well, what kind of wife do you want to be? What kind of mom do you want to be? Are you kind, loving? Are you playful? And maybe you're a friend. Are you the kind of friend that shows up for others? Or are you a boss or an employee? Okay, what kind of boss and employee are you? And what would be super helpful is if you wrote out like a portrait of yourself 2.0. So for me, who is Kristina 2.0? And use your senses. What does she look like? Literally describe, like, what clothes do you picture yourself wearing? What do you look like? What do you smell like? Do you love a certain kind of perfume? Did you just get done at the gym and you're really proud of yourself? What do you sound like? What do you do to fill your time? If you're laughing, what is around you that's bringing you joy? Are there other people around you? Are you by yourself? What does your relationship with God look like, sound like, feel like? There are so many different angles that you could turn this, but sit with it and see what comes to mind. Who are you 2.0? Once I had that clear picture for myself, I was able to become a little better friends with myself. And on the days I really missed my affair partner, I could say, thank you, brain, for offering me something that used to bring me comfort. But today, I'm choosing this other thing because it's what Kristina 2.0 would do. Because I know who I am and where I'm headed, and I can control my thoughts and also my emotions. And then the beauty of the situation is that you will begin to see fruit in your life's tree. As the weather changes, as the spring season comes, I promise it will, then there will be an abundance of fruit in your life because of the work that you did to tend the soil of your heart and mind. Sister, love yourself today because I love you too.
Hey Mama, I hope today's episode encouraged your heart. If you need to talk about this some more, would you send me a message at KristinaJoyCoaching.com? Also, please take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It thrills my heart to know this podcast is helping you heal your heart so you can shed the shame of your affair. I am cheering for you, and I can't wait to hear your story. I'll meet you back here on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another episode. As always, be clothed with strength and dignity and laugh without fear of the future.